Hello, BookTube, and welcome to the day's first mail haul. A dark, rainy, freezing cold day here in Boston, and fairly early. I'm kind of surprised that there was any mail this early in the day, but happy. I've got 3 packages here. That's a fine way to start the day. I always think that maybe just to have mercy on you, I should just wait until the end of the day, let all the mail accumulate, and then do it all at once. But that means I'm uploading a video at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. I figure we'll just do it piecemeal, at least today, until I figure out how I want to do it. So we've got 3 packages here, no boxes. We'll see if anything is of interest. If anything, this is a very early start to the day, so there's probably a lot more bookish stuff to come. Okay, this one comes out in August. Has an intriguing title. It's by Susan Neiman, and it's called Learning from the Germans, Race and the Memory of Evil. Oh boy. Okay, the pub sheet doesn't waste any time at all. You don't need me to tell you that the age of Trump has brought the United States to a moment of reckoning. Who we are as a nation seems to be an open question, and its answers will be determined by how and whether we confront the darkest aspects of our national character, racism, and the history of slavery. In the aftermath of white nationalist attacks never fully condemned by the president, they were endorsed by the president. Don't say never fully condemned. They were endorsed by him. An open racist with a 50-year history of racism, who's been found to be racist in a court of law. There's no use dancing around the subject. Amid debates over the reparations and Confederate monuments, this conversation has been imbued with a new and vital urgency. Nothing less than the soul of the nation is at stake. And I'm therefore excited to share with you Learning from the Germans, a new book that puts our deeply American struggle into historical and philosophical perspective. This book, the author takes Germany's efforts to atone for the Holocaust as a touchstone for how we might also redeem ourselves. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, what a way to start the day. All right, so this comes out in August. I'm going to wait on it a bit. I'm sure that it will be thought-provoking, but maybe I'm just feeling it right now, this early in the morning. I don't really want to jump into a book that is implicitly comparing to 2019 America to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust. So let's just move on to the next package. Hope for something a little bit lighter, maybe a little bit lighter. Oh, okay. All right, this is unexpected. This is from Harvard University Press. Fantastic. I didn't think I was on their list. Harvard University Press has forever had a dual language series, the Loeb Classical Library series, where the books have, on the one hand, either Latin or Greek on the one facing page, and on the other page, a fairly serviceable English translation. With minimal notes, usually taken from really good editions. And in comparatively recent times, Harvard has expanded the popular awareness of other similar series that they have. One is the Itati Renaissance Library series, where they're doing incredible pioneering work with English language translations of works of the Italian Renaissance. And I absolutely love the Itati books. But another one that they do is for medieval texts. And it's the Dumbarton Oaks series. And I didn't think that I was ever on the list for the Dumbarton Oaks. Sometimes I see items in the catalogs of theirs that I really wish for, and I don't get them. But here is one. And it's got a name on it that really brings a smile to my face. So I'm glad that if I had to start with one, I'm glad I started with this one. This is Saints of 9th and 10th century Greece. And one of the translators is Anthony Kaldelis, who is a fantastic writer on Byzantium, on Byzantine Rome. So what have we got here? This comes out in May. Probably out already. Yeah, there have been 54 volumes in this series. This book collects funeral orations, encomia, and narrative hagiography. Together, these works illuminate one of the most obscure periods of Greek history, when holy men played central roles as the Byzantine administration reimposed control on southern and central Greece in the wake of Avar, Slavic, and Arab attacks. and the collapse of the late Roman Empire. The bishops of the region provided much-needed leadership and institutional stability, while ascetics established hermitages and faced invaders. The lives gathered here include accounts of Peter of Argos, which offers insight into the episcopal authority in medieval Greece. Okay, all right, that's going to sound eye-crossingly dull to quite a few of you, but I am intrigued already. That's fantastic. I'll have to see if I can find an exact date for this. Maybe it doesn't have one. I mean, this is not something you're going to see in bookstores, or that is going to get reviewed anywhere at all. So, but I can show you what I mean. This is what I was talking about. We have the English on one side and the Greek on the other. So, great. All right. A squiggly bit of scholarship that gets Steve's pulse racing, but maybe not anybody else. And then we'll do this last book, and then we'll be finished for this morning. So, okay, all right, great. We saw the advanced copy of this. I think it was a while ago that we did. This comes out on June 4th. And this is an anthology of the type that I just love. This is The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes, edited by Graham Davis, the greatest detective stories from 1837 to 1914. It's a standard thing. There have been many, many anthologies like this, but I always love them, especially since when you get an anthology like this, you will be learning about the vision of the editor, which, can make all the difference in the world. Let's see here. Between 1887 and 1927, Arthur Conan Doyle, that is, wrote 4 novels and 56 short stories featuring Holmes, and the success of the great detective brought both imitators and competitors. But when Holmes finally fell to his death over the Reichenbach Falls and The Final Problem, the hiatus that followed saw many imitators trying to fill the public's demand for brilliant detectives and baffling mysteries. Holmes' return in The Hound of the Baskervilles only increased this demand and inspired other writers to try detective fiction. The engaging and enlightening stories collected in this volume bring together these detectives and authors who may have inspired Holmes, those who took advantage of his absence, and those who fought him for readers in the pages of The Strand and other popular magazines. Okay, another nice thing about anthologies like this is that you will often get authors that you don't know, that you haven't read, and that's always fun. Like in this, you'll get Wilkie Collins, and you'll get Edgar Allan Poe, and maybe Charles Dickens, but you'll get other people too. E.W. Hornung, Arthur Morrison. These are okay, great, fantastic. And this is right around the corner. This is in early June. That's only a couple of weeks away. June is only a couple of weeks away, even though it's freezing cold and dark all the time here in Boston, even though it's pouring rain or spitting sleet every day, all day. June is only 2 weeks away. And I'm assuming that if this weather is still true in June, every single day, dark as twilight and freezing cold, that it'll start to get national, maybe even international news coverage. Maybe there'll be environmental teams from all over the world that will come here to figure out why Boston is cursed this time. I don't know. All I know is that these videos are a race to see whether or not my fingers will go cramp before I can turn that space heater back on. It makes a little too much noise to be on in a video, but I'm living on it. In the middle of May, I'm living in doubled sweatshirts, ration time in the shower, and a space heater. In the middle of May, I'm wearing a knit cap, fingerless gloves, a winter jacket, and keeping Frida outside for limited amounts of time because it's so cold. Anyway, so Sherlock Holmes, The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes. I meant to check. Does this thing have a Holmes story? I guess that would be sort of an insult to injury if it did. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. So we have Sherlock Holmes. We have an edition in the Dumbarton Oaks series of medieval texts from Harvard. That's fantastic. I hope I get more of them. And we have Learning from the Germans, Race and the Memory of Evil. That's going to be quite a lump of coal to swallow come August. But I will do it. I think there's a piece to be written. Larger piece, kind of what is odiously referred to as a think piece, about books like this and the fact that they are filling the market now. The bookstores are full of books, titles like "Is Democracy Dead?" "Democracy is Dead." "Is Fascism Returning?" "Fascism is Returning." The bookstores are full of books like that now, as an existential dread spreads throughout the country. So, and this is a little bit more high-toned than the rest of those, but it's definitely along the same lines. Yeah, I'm going to wait a little. I'm going to wait a little to read it. I think in terms of order of preference here for this mail haul, I will put this on the August pile and wait. I will read the introduction by Anthony Caldelas here. I think he does. Does he do the introduction? Yeah, he does. So I will read the introduction by him and maybe one or two of the pieces, but not the whole thing. I'll just let it simmer just a bit. And Leslie Klinger is the editor of this volume. He is fantastic. He's one of the greatest editors alive today. I'll definitely read his introduction. Apparently he has an introduction about Sherlock Holmes in this volume. And then maybe I'll pick a couple of stories that I haven't read. There are a couple of stories in here that I haven't read. So that'll be, relatively immediate engagement, partially for these two. And I'll wait a bit on learning from the Germans. so there we go. A fairly early mail haul, but again, the alternative would have been to just wait and let the mail pile up, and that tends to make late videos. You should probably tell me, right, which you prefer. Do you like multiple videos, many videos during the day, where we go through the mail as it arrives, or would you rather a very late video that you can maybe watch the next day that has, 35 minutes of mail? You just let me know. Whatever you decide, I'll do. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I'll see you later today. Thank you, BookTube.